Hey, why isn't anybody else talking about all of the overlooked branding tools that could help you to get more Spotify streams, help you to get more TikTok and Instagram followers, and overall stand out from the rest of the competition? I don't know, but this is what we're going to cover in this video. Oh, and before we get started, I actually wrote the book on music marketing, so you guys are in super good hands. Just be sure to like and subscribe for notifications of future videos, and let's get this started. Have you guys ever watched American Idol where they announce one of the contestants and right before that contestant comes on, they run the B-roll, and then afterwards we feel so much more connected to that artist. We feel that they're so much more relatable and we're even cheering for them, right? Well, that is the power of storytelling, and all of us have a story within. It doesn't have to be something bad. It doesn't have to be something tragic. It just gives a little bit more insight into your history and how you got here today and what makes you tick, right? So much more powerful than saying something like, click on my link to my Spotify streams or something, right? That's shallow. Think about what we think of Beyonce, right? The fact that we know that she was a young girl that was in a really constrained management situation, and then she kind of broke away from that. Now she's about female empowerment and she's about like being your own business person. Or think about when we think of Eminem and we think about his angry type lyrics, and then we think about how he grew up, and we think about the family dysfunction and how he was bullied. It brings the whole piece of the puzzle together. It brings the whole package together. So see if you can use storytelling in your branding and marketing. Think about how you can use it in your Reels, on your Instagrams, and in your TikToks, because it's way more powerful than just saying, click on my link. Another really cool branding tool that a lot of people are not talking about is alter egos. And alter egos allows you to communicate something about your brand that you would normally feel a little uncomfortable about doing, but hey, your alter ego has no problem with it. So think about David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust, or think about like Eminem's Slim Shady, or think about Nicki Minaj's, Roman Zelensky. All of these alter personalities have allowed the artist to take a different lyrical perspective, or to give a different type of interview, or to dress slightly different. It's all connected. It's all related. It's not going off on a tangent, but it just makes them more interesting to their target audience. And the more interesting you are to your audience, the more likely they're going to be engaged, the more they're going to want to click on those Spotify links and watch those Instagram reels and watch your shorts. So think about maybe whether or not you can create an alter ego for your career and incorporate this into your branding. Hey, continuing on a discussion about overlooked branding tools, I've got a really important question for you guys. Would you agree that there's a lot of dancing that goes on in social media content? What we watch on TikTok, what we watch on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. Would you agree with me? And then when you think of people like Michael Jackson, like you think of the moonwalk. And when you think of like Snoop Dogg, you think of like the Crip walk. And when you think of James Brown, you think of the splits. And when you think of Shakira, you think about the hip movement. And when you think about Axl Rose, you think about the snake dance, right? I mean, think about how all of these moves became very memorable and a very distinct part of that artist's brand. So why aren't independent artists doing this? I don't get it. Like, why aren't you guys creating some sort of signature move or dance move or something like this and repeating it over and over in your videos, and then doing dance challenges and things like that with your audience? The more memorable you are, the more interesting you are, the more people are going to connect with you and remember you and click on those Spotify links and watch your reels and things of that nature. So it's yet another tool in our arsenal of branding that you can use. And I think it would be a lot of fun to see if you can come up with something today. Give it a shot. So I think that a lot of us would agree at this time that branding is all about creating a memorable image in the minds of your fans that stands out from the other competitors and ultimately makes you a more interesting artist. The more interesting an artist you are, the more fans feel engaged, and the more likely they are to support you by clicking on your Spotify links and watching your Instagram reels, right? Well, another way that we can engage with our fans and be more interesting is through hand gestures. It's a way to kind of connect more with your audience, right? So think about like Gene Simmons, like Rock On, or like Dio's, like, horns. So we think about Lady Gaga's Monster Claw. These are all things that create like a communication with your audience. And again, the more you communicate with them and touch them and engage them, the more likely they are going to be to support you. And we also think, there's other things too, right? There's Jay-Z's like Rockefeller symbol, if you guys can remember that one. Or there's like Miley Cyrus's tongue. And I'm not going to do that one because I don't want to gross you guys out. But again, these are all like little things that you can do and you can keep on repeating in your like Instagram content and your TikTok content and YouTube shorts that just might give you that little extra edge. And that's all we're looking for, right? So I would say give this technique a shot today. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. You want to belong. I want to belong. It's part of human nature to want to feel part of something bigger than us. So why don't we create our own world, our own family by naming our fans, right? This is nothing new. Grateful Dead had the Deadheads. Taylor Swift has the Swifties. BTS has the Army. Right? And what it does is it just makes you more memorable. It makes you stand out from the competition, and it increases that engagement that you have with your audience because they feel you're part of your family. And the more engaged they are, the more likely, I'm going to repeat myself, the more likely they are to click on those Spotify links, watch your Instagram reels and watch your YouTube shorts and stuff and come to your shows, right? So it's just another forgotten tool in the branding, toolbox that you guys can use. It doesn't cost you anything to do. And it's something you can easily add to your social media content as you're saying goodbye to everyone when you finish your content. So I would say, give it a shot, right? Every little bit helps. And this is something that you can do today. So a lot of you don't know that my father was a clothing designer and made really beautiful clothes for rich business persons like Mr. Johnson & Johnson and many, many others. And he used to have this like very, very beautiful artistic like hand signature or autograph, right? And he used to tell me, develop like your autograph, practice over and over again, come up with something that's unique. And I used to go, wow, well, wouldn't that be nice if one day people do ask me for my autograph? And as it turns out, I got to that point and signed hundreds of autographs as a professional musician and now as an author. And every time I do it, people are like, wow, that is so cool. And it just becomes another memorable part of your brand and a way to connect personally with your audiences, right? A signature, an autograph is very, very personal to a fan. And that's another opportunity for you to connect with them, engage with them, and make you sort of a more likable person that sticks in their mind. And that's what this is all about, you guys. So, hey, practice that autograph today. It's a lot of fun. Wow, I could go on and on and on with little like branding tools that a lot of people don't even talk about. But, I just want to be clear that all of these things that I've been talking about don't just apply to like you, the company. They also apply to every single one of your products, to your recordings, to your merch, to your live performance sets. And that's why you need to check out this next video on product branding. My name is Bobby Borg, helping musicians turn their art into more successful business. Peace, love, and later.